and we're going to kind of we're going to kind of run through these eons chronologically, and we're going to talk a little bit about the characteristics that defined each, as well as some significant events that took place during the course of these eons. So beginning with the Hadean eon, this took place about 4.6 billion to 3.8 billion years ago, roughly. This was the eon following, or the period of time, I should say, directly following Earth's formation. And so you can imagine a pretty hellish landscape on the surface of the planet. You know, the molten surface, tons of volcanism, asteroid impacts, that type of thing. And up in the top left there, you can kind of see an artist rendering of what things might have looked like during the Hadean era. So moving on now to the Archean era, about 3.8 to 2.5 billion years ago. And the Archean era is actually synonymous with the outset of the rock record. So there's, I think there's one rock formation in Canada that dates past the Archean era, but other than that, most every rock that you're going to find is younger than the date specified for the Archean era. It's important to note this eon, it was still a super turbulent time on the face of the planet. A lot of asteroid and meteorite impacts, and still a large amount of volcanism and things like that. So and here you're going to see, an artist rendering right there of what things might have looked like around the Archean era on Earth, or the Archean eon on Earth, excuse me. So to move now to the Proterozoic era, roughly 2.5 billion years to 540 million years ago, and Proterozoic means earlier life. And by this time, plate tectonics processes had already started, and a lot of the central parts of the continents that we know today have began to form. Also, something really important in the Proterozoic eon is the Great Oxygenation event. I won't get into it. It's kind of beyond the scope of this presentation to go into all the reasons why, but something very important to note is that the atmosphere saw a huge spike in oxygen saturation at that time, which, as you can imagine, probably had a great deal of implications for the evolution of life. So we're going to move now to the Phanerozoic era, 540 million years ago to the present day. And Phanerozoic means visible life. So this era, this eon, I should say, it was embodied by a huge amount of evolution and the emergence of larger and more sophisticated life forms. And as a matter of fact, most of the evidence we see of prehistoric life, dinosaurs in particular, all evolved and lived and died during this era, during this eon. And this eon is divided into three eras, which is the Paleozoic, meaning ancient life, the Mesozoic, meaning middle life, and the Cenozoic, meaning recent life. So, and here you see some really horrible looking things that might have been around during the Phanerozoic era. And just kind of an artist's depiction of what what you might see during that time. So, anyways, guys, that's my presentation. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope this helps.